DBS community, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super video. And today, so I got these cards sent to me last night in our Discord, and there's a good amount of them. They're black cards. So this is kind of, I know I'm behind. Broken, I think its name's Broken Honor. He beat me to it. I was gonna make this video last night when I got these cards, and I just didn't. But congrats, you beat me to it, but I'm still gonna make the video because, I want to talk about them. And I think these cards are really cool, and they're just a bunch of black leaks, reveals that came out. So we're just gonna kind of talk about them a little bit and give a few thoughts, and we'll move on. So I will try not to make the video terribly long. So we have SS4 Son Goku prepping for fusion. This is a 6-drop, 30k blocker. Xeno Evolve on top of a Goku Xeno with energy cost of 1. This card's played or use its blocker ability. Play up to 1 black skills battle card. Energy cost of 1 for your drop area, warp, and rest mode. Whew. So, this is cool. This is giving some synergy to, I'm assuming the new leader, the new black leader is going to be a SS4 Gogeta. It just makes the most sense. But it's just cool that you have 1-drops that have effects, and then you can evolve Xeno Evolve on top of them. So when you Xeno Evolve is a little bit of a different skill. Xeno Evolve sends the card that's being evolved into to the warp, and then this card comes in active mode. I believe that's how the game reads. So you play a 1-drop, swing with it. If you have the double strike guy, that's probably the best one. Catastrophic Premonition, and then you evolve on top of it, and then put that in the drop in the warp, and then play Scout for 1. And now you have a 30k blocker that can play out skills from the drop area, which is really cool. So this is a very cool card. I'm assuming the next one, next one's gonna be Vegeta, prepping for fusion. Same thing, evolves on top of Vegeta now. When this card attacks, choose 1 skillless card in your drop or in your deck and add it to your hand. No specified cost. That's cool. So, off the top, what I'm seeing here is whatever new leader they're going to come out with is going to have support with this stuff, obviously. I think it's going to be probably Super Saiyan 4 or Gogeta. This is also very cool for a deck like Kid-Ku, because you play skillless. So that's a very cool thing to keep in mind. I think Kid-Ku may be making some form of a comeback. We may have to make Kid-Ku. We have the 8-drop Gogeta triple attack blocker. While this card is in rest mode, it can't be KO'd by your opponent's skills. Very important to keep in mind. When this card attacks, once per turn, your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and 2 of their battle cards, ignoring barrier, sends into the owner's warp at the end of the turn, switches this card to active mode. So this card is going to decimate your opponent's board. And when it attacks once per turn, they're basically losing 4 cards. 2 cards in hand, and 2 of the battle cards ignoring barrier. Activate main for 4. Choose 1 Goku Xeno, 1 Vegeta Xeno in your battle area or drop area. Send them to the warp and play it. So it's basically an overrealm. It's an overrealm that costs 4 that has a 2 specific requirement for its overrealm. And it's a 5k. It's really good. So cards, again, I'm going to say this again. Probably going to say this for the next 3 weeks for all the reveals. I really think they're going to see some counterplay bans. And I think if we do, it's not going to feel bad playing this card for 4 energy. Just not going to. This card's interesting. So Rabilu, Meticulous Investigator. Blocker, auto, limit 1. So it's a very long ability. Opponent has 3 or less energy, and you place this card in its owner's drop from your hand or battle area. When your opponent activates the activate skill on an extra card with an original energy cost of 1 or 2 that doesn't have a keyword skill or special trait from their hand without paying its energy cost, they may pay the energy cost of that card. If they don't, you draw 2 cards and play this card from your drop area in rest mode. You can activate this card at counter window timing. So, first thing I think of is Mecha Frieza. You can only play it on turn 3 and beyond. or technically your opponent's turn 3, if they go first, so on your turn 2, you play this for free. You just pitch it, activate the ability. If they don't pay the energy cost, then you draw 2 cards. And so it's only activate skills. So activate main, activate battle. It doesn't count for counterattacks or counters. Or counterplays. So just activate main, activate battles. And you can activate this card. You can activate this skill at the counter timing. That just means you can play it during that time period. But this card is super good. I think this card's gonna be a staple side deck card for every deck. Like I'm gonna get a full. One of my goals is to get a full foil playset of this card because it's gonna be really, really good. So some people may not see the reason for it yet. It's fine. Just that means they don't have to buy the card. Kabuto Kai. When this card's played, draw 1. If it's your turn when this card is used in a combo, opponent has 3 or less energy. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, 30k power or more. Place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So it's only on your turn, because if you could do it on your opponent's turn, it would be broken. You can just combo it away and bottom deck at 30k. But on your turn, so basically you play this card out for 1. And then you swing the leader, or you swing at something, you combo this card off, and then bottom deck a card. This card's the anti-Broly. For real. Or, it's anti-Syn Shinron. Bottom deck, you can bottom deck any of their, either one of their 30Ks. Super good. Speaking of Syn, we have the Shadow Dragon, the Xeno Shadow Dragons, which have been revealed. So we have Oceanus Shinron, Power of Darkness, Sparking 5, Super Combo. For leaders of black, this card is used in a combo from your hand, draw a card, and this card gets 10k power for the battle. Limit 1 if your leader is black and you choose one of your black unisons. When you remove a marker from one of your unison cards using a Spirit Boost skill, you may place this card from your hand under a chosen card. If you do, add a marker to that chosen card, then draw a card. So this is a super combo that also has another effect to it as well, which being able to buff up your unison basically, so where your unison doesn't lose a marker, and then you get the draw a card. So it has 2 different effects to it, which is very good. It's a very, very cool effect. Toa, Resonance of Shadow. 10k. When your leader activates a blocker skill, place the top card of your deck in your drop area, then add a marker to this card. This is obviously going to be played with the Xeno Syn leader. Activate main, draw a card. Super good. Choose 1 card in your hand and up to 3 Shadow Dragon extra cards in your drop area. Place them at the bottom of your deck in any order. So the Shadow Dragon extra cards that I'm going to show you here in a second are extremely powerful. And basically this allows you to bottom deck those cards so you get those cards back. Activate main, -7 if your leader is a Shadow Dragon. Please choose up to 7 black Shadow Dragons with different card names, different character names in your hand or drop area, and play them. So basically now we don't have 1 Syn Shinron to deal with, but we have 2. And this is kind of the idea of what the yellow leader effect is, where you tap 6 to play out 7 dragons. This, you can play this out much sooner. Technically, you could play this out on turn 5. So what you can do, turn 5, you can play this for 5, uptick it to 6, draw a card, do the effect. Put 1 from your hand underneath this card to go up to 7, and then -7. So it's pretty powerful. Negative Energy Explosion. I thought this was a Dragon Ball at first. I was going to say, oh cool, we're getting another Wish Leader, but no. This card gains Shadow Dragon in all areas. So this is one of the extra cards. Activate main or battle, limit 1. If your leader is a Shadow Dragon, look at the top 7 cards from your deck, then choose 1, add up to 1 Shadow Dragon extra card. Or if you don't have a unison in play up to 1 Toa, the Resonance of Shadow, among them with a marker on it. So it's a 1-drop, search your top 7 for an extra card, or play out a unison. It's pretty good. Oceanus Shinran, Negative Energy Explosion. This card's nuts. 5-drop counterattack. Choose one card in your hand, discard it. Negate the attack, play this card. If you played a card, if you played a card, your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they place the top 4 cards of their deck in the drop area. So I don't know what this means. This is if you played a card. Does this card count for that effect? I would assume yes, but it's just kind of confusing. But your opponent can't attack anymore unless they mill the top 4 cards of their deck. That's just brutal. That is just brutal. Permanent, during your opponent's turn, reduce the energy cost of the card in your hand by 3, so it becomes a 2-drop. So it's the same idea as the Toa or Topo. Sorry, not Toa. Poutine or Topo. But it's just for this guy. If your leader is a Shadow Dragon card, when this card is played from your hand or discarded by a Shadow Dragon's card skill, you may look at the top card of your deck. If it's a black Shadow Dragon card, you may add it to your hand, otherwise place it at the bottom of your deck. So you play this. So essentially, you play this card, you pitch a card, then you look at the top card of your deck. If it's a Shadow Dragon card, you add it to your hand. So technically, it is a pitch 1, draw 1 that is also negates and also acts as a floodgate. It's nuts. And it's a blocker. It's an SR. It damn well should be an SR. Natron Shinran, Power of Darkness. 1 drop if your leader is a Shadow Dragon. When this card is played, choose it to 1 extra card with Shadow Dragon in your drop area added to your hand. So add you back stuff from the drop area. So if your leader is a Shadow Dragon card, when this card is discarded by a Shadow Dragon card skill, you may look at the top card of your deck. If it's a Shadow Dragon, add it to your hand. Otherwise, place it at the bottom of your deck. So again, this card only gains the effect when it's discarded by a card skill. So this card doesn't have an on-play effect, which is fine. You play it, add a dragon back to your hand, or you just pitch it off a dragon card skill, gain the effect. Now we have the unawakened side of the leader, which for whatever reason we didn't get the awakened side. But the leader has blocker, which is really weird. When you activate a Shadow Dragon extra card from your hand, you and your opponent place the top card of your decks in the drop area. Choose one for auto. Choose 1 black Shadow Dragon card in your hand. Discard when this card attacks. Draw 1. Switch this card to active mode at the end of the turn. So you get a 10k blocker, which is just weird that you have a blocker for your leader. When your life is at 4 or less, or you have 7 or more Shadow Dragon cards in your drop area, you may restand 1, draw 1. It's pretty fair. This is going to be a very interesting leader. I want to see what the awakened side is. 3-drop Power of Darkness. We've kind of already seen this card announced. But basically, you can play it out for 1 using a Spirit Boost effect, and when you play it, you get the same effect when you play it, or when it's discarded. You look at the top card of your deck. If it's Shadow Dragon, you add it. All right, so the next one is the 4-drop Syn Shinran, Negative Energy Explosion. This is a 20k deflect double strike barrier blocker. If you leave as a Shadow Dragon when this card is played from your hand or discarded, you get to look at the top card of your deck and do that effect. Activate main or battle once per turn. Spirit Boost 1. Switch this card to active mode. Your opponent places the top card of their deck in the drop area. Choose up to 1 Shadow Dragon extra card in your hand. Activate it to activate main battle skill without paying its energy cost. Which is nuts, especially on how these cards actually have effects. Being able to play them for free is just extremely overloading. What this card can do. And it has barrier and double strike and deflect, and it's a really difficult card to get to. It has barrier and blocker. Those type of cards are really hard to deal with. So we're gonna go over the. I think I have the So I have the extra cards here, and and then some other stuff here too. So first one is Ultimate Dark Dragon Slaying Bullet. Counterplay: if your opponent is playing a Unison card, they may either remove a marker from it for every 2 cards in your drop or warp. That's already broken. So if you have 6 cards in your drop area, you play this for 1, they have to remove 3 markers from it. If they don't, your opponent can only attack 1 more time for the turn. Which basically most people are just they're not going to take away 3 markers off their Unison that they display for 3 energy. So yeah, that's really rough. This card gains Shadow Dragon in all areas, and then activate main battle, limit 1. Your opponent chooses one of the battle cards and it costs less than the number of cards in their drop area, and sends it to the warp. So this is for interesting type of removal, where your opponent has to choose one of their cards, and the card has to be fit underneath the requirement of being less cost than their current amount of cards in the drop, and then they warp it. So if that's the card that's in battle. That's the card that's in battle, and that's really good. yeah, I mean, the counterplay effect is just absolutely broken. Absolutely broken. Now we have Ultimate Whirlwind Spin. Activate main battle, same thing. If your leader's black, look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 1 Shadow Dragon battle card among them to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. You may choose 1 Shadow Dragon card in your hand. Discard. If you do, your leader gains 1k power for the turn. The idea of this is to make your leader a little bit stronger, so your opponent has to swing. Basically, your opponent has to combo up to get around your blocker effect, which is, it's interesting. I don't really know how good that's gonna be, but I guess we'll find out. Ultimate Dragon Tackle. Activate main, limit 1. If your opponent has a unison card in play, your opponent places the top card of their deck in the drop area. Your opponent may choose one of their unisons and remove 2 markers from it. If they don't, draw 1, and then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the owner's warp. This is really good. So you basically your opponent swings at you, you activate battle, and they now have to remove markers from their unison. If they don't, you get to draw a card and then warp a battle card. So you can warp the battle card that they're swinging with if they don't remove markers from it, and it's terribly annoying because then you risk losing your unison, and then if you don't, they get to draw a card and then they warp a battle card. So it has some pretty interesting trade-offs. Thankfully, it is a 2 cost, but again, you can play off this guy for free. You just basically mill the top card of your deck, switch this card to active mode. You remove one marker from your unison, and then you can play this guy out for free. So, and then we have the Haze Dragons here. We have Haze Shinron, negative energy explosion, critical blocker for leaders. The Shadow Dragon, same effect. I'm not gonna read it again. When this card attacks, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, send it to the owner's warp, and switch this card to active mode at the end of the turn. So it is a 15k crit that warps a battle card on board, and then restands as a blocker. Super good. Haze Shinron, Power of the Dragon. Auto, same effect. Activate main, 1 black. If your leader is a Shadow Dragon card, you switch this card to rest mode. Play up to 1 black Shadow Dragon card with energy cost of 3 or less in your hand. So you get some onboard play as well. So you play this card, you basically get to draw 1. It's essentially a 1-drop draw 1, and then you get to activate another energy to play a card out in its place and put this card in rest mode. Super good. We have Ultimate Dragon Quake. Activate main, limit 1, and battle. If you lead a Shadow Dragon, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than their current energy, send it to the owner's warp at the end of the turn. Play any card sent to the warp by the skill to the owner's to the owner's battle area with their skills negated for the turn. If your opponent has 15 or fewer cards in their deck, place them in the owner's drop area instead. So basically, when you've milled them out to a certain point, you warp a card. Then at the start of the turn, you play that card back out with its skills negated. If they have less than 15 cards in deck, it goes to the drop area instead, so it doesn't come back. That's really good. It's really, really good. And this card hits all the big cards. While the other card hits the small cards, so you have 2 different forms of removal in the deck. Super good. Now this unison here is probably the best black unison we have, and you should be buying 4 of these, and hopefully there's an SPR of this, because this card is nuts. SS4 Bardock Spirit Resonance. It's a 2-drop, 2 specific black. This is the first one that we have now. So the new Shroom and Salsa cards, where you have to they have the Spirit Boost effect, but you can only use it on unisons that have a specific cost. We can use it on this guy now. Activate main, 1 for +1, draw a card. Super good. Once per turn, when you remove a marker from this using a Spirit Boost skill, send it to one of your opponent's battle cards to the drop area. Really good. You can reoccur this effect so many times, and this card is just, it's very, very good. -2, until the end of your opponent's next turn, they can't attack with battle cards unless they choose 1 card in their hand and send it to the warp each time. That's broken too. You keep this card on board long enough, you can just swing with it -2, and now you have a permanent, kind of like a floodgate already up. Your opponent can't attack with battle cards. And then you, like, if you're playing Magic Gabora, then you Poutine. Now your opponent has to warp 3 cards from their hand every time they attack. They're not going to do that. And that's the last card. So, these are all the black cards we have so far. I'm super stoked. I think this engine for Syn looks very terrifying. and I'm really excited to play against it until it ends up being broken, and then I don't want to play against it. So we're gonna see, but I think this is probably my MVP so far for black. It's gonna be this Bardock here. But let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I just wanted to share these cards with you since I got them last night. I'm sure other people have already talked about them and stuff, but wanted to do my due diligence, give everybody a good view of the cards, let you know what I think about them, and just do a little discussion. So thank you guys for watching. Hit the bell for notifications. We do post videos weekly on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.